Well, hello there, everyone. This is Mayor Jason, the Gaming Tycoon, also known as JM764, and this is Project Highrise. So, Project Highrise is a new game that recently came out of a beta test. It's not released on Steam yet, but a good friend of mine, Tom, was gracious enough to give me the game, a spare key code he had from the developers. So, since everyone that has the key now is allowed to record, I decided I might as well record something on it. Now, this won't be a complete review of the game, as A, it's still technically beta, and it's not released yet, and B, I'm pretty sure they're still working on things. So this will just be a quick overview. Also, this was supposed to be recorded Sunday, but I ran into some tech issues, so it's being recorded Monday, so there's that. Anyway, I'm going to load up a tower as well. Making a new tower won't really be much. This is really a new tower, though. But here's the game. My UI set it to be a bit smaller than it should be, since this is 2K resolution. But for those who are wondering, Project Tower is a game similar to, for those who remember, this old game called Sim Tower, and its more modern equivalent, even though it's almost equally as old nowadays, Ute Tower. And for us, very obscure but fairly decent portable equivalent, the Tower SP. And I think there was one on DS, if I remember right. SP was on Game Boy Advance, from what I remember. Ooh. Regardless, it's been a while since I've seen an entry in this genre, and it's nice to see a new one in a modern retake on something that's been around for quite some time. So, obviously, the whole entire goal of Project Tower is to, well, build a tower, like these in the background. This is a standard map, so I'll just pull up the floor layout. This is the area you're allowed to build in. It'll reappear when you're building. You got 10 floors, and you can go up to a maximum of 39. Again, this is just for the standard lot size. From what I remember, though, the large lot size is really more of width. I think all towers cap out at 40, which it says 39 here, but you start on ground zero. I'm not sure if they'll expand that. I don't really mind. It's a fair amount of space when you think about it, but nothing compared to the couple hundred story towers you used to be able to build in the older games. But like any tower, you have to build things. So for starters, I'm going to expand our floor here using this little button here, and you add more floor pieces. I will talk about a few gripes with the game I do have. Nothing major, but I'm keeping it limited since it's still a beta. I kind of wish there was a way that when you build something, you get a confirmation on something you place down before it gets built, because as it is now, you just kind of build and it places it instantly, which is good for some things, terrible for others. One minor complaint though. So since this is our main lobby, we're going to keep things simple down here, mostly just restaurants and basic services that we'll need. To start off with, I usually like starting with towers with offices in them. You can start with apartments too, but I find them to be a bit more demanding when it comes to the services they need, as they are in real life. So we'll keep it simple with an office. Stick some up here once this finishes building, which is another thing about the game. Instead of placing floor instantly, they have to be built, which is nice in some cases, but you only start with 2 workers, which are currently walking in, and I'll actually put the game speed on low. So I'm going to start off with a restaurant, that way we have some money coming in. Over here, and I'll pause real quick again, this is where you can hire, well not hire, sorry, you can rent out your spaces to attendants. So since this is a restaurant area, you can only rent to restaurants, obviously. But you have different types. You can have food courts and cafes to start off with, but later you'll be able to expand to, say, medium restaurants, which are diners and places that offer dinner, the larger restaurants, which I haven't tested yet, but are pretty fancy from what I've seen in other people's videos and screenshots. And obviously gourmet for your high-end kind of stuff. And for each tier, they need more space in your tower. So for now, we'll just start off with this little fast food place that offers lunch. And they'll also offer other foods, but for some reason, they didn't start me off with breakfast and lunch like some of them offer, so I'll just take lunch for now. We can do something with that later. But while that builds, I'm going to speed up the game. I'll give off another minor complaint of mine is time, even though this is the fastest speed, moves rather slowly. As the game runs in days and in minutes, every time at midnight is considered a different day, obviously, but that's the only time you get paid. So you better hope you have money flowing in at midnight, or you're gonna find yourself in a bit of a position. But as you can see here, I built some electrical lines, which obviously you need, and certain things as well can be built instantly, like the electrical closets, which also provide phone and cable, depending on if you have those services. So I'll add one up here. Stairs technically are built instantly too. They still do work on them. And same goes for elevators, they have to be worked on too, but they can be placed before anything else is built around them, which is a nice thing, at least. Saves time. So we're starting our basic office building. We have to wait for them to build out the back to this part of the floor before we can place down offices. So now that we have enough room, we're going to place down a basic office. So this is a basic office space. You just click on it. We'll start off with insurance, as these require extra services that we simply can't afford right now. So we're going to start with insurance. We're going to go for the one that gives us the most, which would be Riviera Insurance. So that's hired in. Then your workers will have to come back to build that space. We're going to pause the game again. And you know what? Might as well add some more offices down here just for now. So we're just going to hire everyone else. I mean rent, sorry. Let people continue building. Now, one thing to note is the fact that when you're building these electrical services and everything, each unit, transformer, switchboard, etc., has a certain limit to them before they fail. And by fail, I mean they just can't produce any more utility for whatever you need it. So right now, we can support up to 10 units. Now, something very interesting to note is, no matter how big the unit is, it always requires 1 unit of utility. So if you have, say, a massive HQ on your top floor, and it covers, say, maybe 20 tiles, I haven't built one yet personally, so I don't know the exact size. But regardless, it will always require 1 unit, which is a nice little feature. It saves on more complicated designs later on. So now we have our complete office. Everyone will move in tomorrow to work here since we took so long to build it today. But we should start seeing money to flow. Speaking of money, there's a lot of ways to earn it in this game aside from your attendance. So if I go down here, this is the contract menu. And if we select this, we already start off with proof of concept no matter what. But I'm going to pick more, well, let's see now. Yeah. We have a rather small selection to start off with, but this will expand as we grow. We could start off with a bit of variety. The only problem is, for coffee, you need a more specialized restaurant, which we can only really unlock later. This would be a simple one, though. But we're going to start off with the one we want to, since this is an office tower. We're going to start off with actually more people needed, because this counts all your workers, attendants, etc. regardless. Basic office requires you to have 16 different attendants of different varieties, which let's face it, this is a basic office tower. And it's going to be a bit of a deal to build. But when morning hits, and there goes our debt already, even though it says we made a loss, if we open up our ADA, this lovely little 80s theme system, which seems to be the theme for everything in this game so far, from what I've seen. Either late 80s, early 90s, give or take. We can see our very, very detailed outlook on certain items. Arrange it by whatever order we really wish. And there's other things as well. There's not much to see here, as we don't have a full tower built out yet, but they'll appear there. And also we can see how much money we're making down here as well. And this is another viewing of all our revenues, operating costs, and one-time transactions for the day, which I've set to pop up every day at midnight. Very useful. So hopefully, and this again is a time where I wish we had one more speed. I think that would be all we really need in this game, is one extra time speed. Just to speed things up for times like this, of course. But so far, I'd say we have a pretty decent tower going. And of course, as you expand, you'll start needing extra services and stuff. Especially if you want the higher tier of offices, for example. They require a lot of stuff. But obviously, the more something requires of something else, the more money you get. And oh, here comes our first worker. And like any good tower game, you can click on them, see what they want, follow them even. And if we zoom in, you'll notice that, hey, the music cuts out. Well, we get this rather nicely detailed viewing of everything in the offices, which I really do like. And again, you can see the influence of late 80s, early 90s stuff here with these ancient computers. But overall, I think the game looks really good. Also, we're halfway through our proof of concept contract, actually 60% to be exact. So we're going to expand one more floor. And also, as you can see, if you forget to put stairs or certain ways to get up, like elevators, it will complain that people can't reach there, aka your workers. So, I'm going to add another staircase. And technically, you don't need a staircase on this level because obviously it ends here, but you can put those in advance too if you want. Though obviously there's nothing to put on the roofs, as far as I have seen, at least. And here's a little helpful guide up here showing this as well. We're going to let our workers build up there. And here comes another minor complaint of mine. You can see we have already filled out all our offices already. But you can also remember that when we built these, we used up all 5 contracts. Well, until we can place down another office space, we can't refresh the contract list, which is it's not too bad. Actually, we do have one more office. I'll just go on and get that now. But now we can't even select the other rentals until we build another office space, in which case we still have to wait. So place another office. Yeah, right here. We can't even advertise until this menu appears again, which only appears on an empty office space. Pretty annoying if you ask me, but it's a thing, I guess. So now we'll have to wait 2 hours for that to refresh. And as you can see, I already forgot to build basic utilities here. Which, if a service that uses, say, electricity or so, loses that for long enough, they will instantly move out. Electricity is the only utility you'll need for everything. Certain other utilities, like water, are a bit more specific, but it's not too bad. Oh, here goes one for 95. And let's fit in one more. Thankfully, your workers never leave the building or go on strike or for anything. I've seen before. They just still do have their own needs and demands, though. I believe if they're not met, they work a bit slower, from what I've seen. Can't really confirm that as of right now. But now we have a little happy office tower going. And you just really need to repeat this process like any other good tower game until you've completed what you need to move on to the next style of office or whatever you wish to build. So I'm just going to save this real quick. Yes, 764 Review Lane. We're going to go back to the main menu because we can't load from in-game. I'm going to load up the tower I was testing earlier, which is 2090 North Street Lane. So this is my tower I was working on. Also the main reason I hadn't really done anything yesterday, because this was also my test facility. And as you can see, it's quite a work in progress. It's a massive office tower with no shops or anything in it, because I decided to keep it simple for simpleness sake at least. But you see we have restaurants down here, a variety of services, some of which are overworked, but I balanced it out so it's not completely overworked. And a bunch of new services here. We've expanded 3 floors up and just needed to be built. So this is the kind of designs you can make in this game. I tried to keep it as symmetrical as I could, though some things had to get moved over, and I found out that some things are just 1 or 2 tiles bigger than I thought they would be originally. All in all, though, a very nice little tower. Here's a few late game complaints, and by late game, I would say this isn't even like mid-game, really. Somewhere between mid and early game. If we go down here, you'll notice some new services of mine. Most importantly, the maintenance office. Now, you'll get this usually the first time you build an elevator system, because they do break down. I haven't seen really any disaster strike a tower, though, like in some of the older games like fires or robberies, etc. But we still have breakdowns, we have things that decay, stuff like that. And I'm waiting. Oh, actually, I'll change my thought real quick. As you can see, we have some unhappiness here. So if I click on his office, we can see what they complain about, like their average happiness and all with your tower. If we go next door, you can see this guy's pretty happy. I wish there was a bit more detail as into why, because sometimes I've seen an office that looked perfectly fine to me just move out without warning, which is rather annoying. Going back to this guy, rent's too high, understandable. This is a challenging map instead of standard. I had tried difficult, but it was just that's for experts, surely. Either way, he's complaining about my copy services, which I will admit are a bit overwhelmed at the moment. And the fact that rent's too high. So as you can see, it's going down, and he's considering to move out. Hopefully he doesn't, but if he does, I'll have another example to show off. I'm going to let this run for a moment. Ah, here we go. This is what I really want to show. So, as you can see, we have some buildings that need, units that need repair. 1 office and 1 restaurant. As the game stands right now, it is pretty difficult to find units in repair. I mean, if you're relatively close like this, or on smaller screens more like this, you can zoom in and see, hey, this looks a bit worn down, maybe we should fix it up. And just, you can click it here and hit repair, or preferably you can hit the office here and click repair or repair all. The problem is, this is a large tower map. The largest one from what I remember. So, 40 stories by 20 below. Good luck finding all of these units in need of repair, because it won't tell you outright with an icon or anything. That's probably my biggest complaint with the game so far, because even the maintenance office won't tell you either that things need to be repaired. So I would like to see some kind of icon, either on the offices themselves, or at least at the maintenance office saying, hey, things need maintenance. And another thing I would like to see in the game is maybe an ability to have maintenance automatically take out funds to repair things, so you don't have to. Because this building, and I'll see if I can get the info up again. Here we go. Already has a lot of space to it. But in addition to that, we have a ton of attendance, which is here. Yeah, 186 offices, 5 restaurants, and 8 services. Thankfully, services don't need anything outside of electricity, maybe water and phone if they require it. And possibly cable TV. I haven't seen any that require that. But everything else outside of services has to be repaired after a certain amount of time. So if all 186 of these units broke down, plus the 5 restaurants, yeah, even with the auto repair all button, that would be rather annoying if they all broke down simultaneously. So it'd be kind of nice if they could just be set up to, say, either warn you when things break down and a menu comes up asking you to repair it, then you click it, or just, again, have it auto set up to do that. But apparently no one wants to move out anymore. I guess I balanced it a little too well. So I'll show up one more complaint about the game real quick. Nothing major, just a minor pet peeve of mine, really. If I build an office, say here, for example, rent it out, sorry. And so they're moving in and all. Then I decide, hey, that was the wrong kind of office. Or they move out. Let's just pretend they move out, even though it's saying a break-in lease. It destroys the entire unit and replaces it with boxes. Now the boxes I do understand, that's all fine and dandy to me. My problem is the unit. Because even though you can build units, and this means every single unit, regardless of type or size, for free, like say if I could fit this medium in here, it would, I'll just build another mini office. It's free. You do have to pay for offices to move in, such as this one, which cost $103. People have to go up there to put it in place and everything. But then it gets, either they move out or you delete it, the entire unit goes, and you have to wait for all these boxes to get cleared out. Personally, I would like to see if they could put in a system where the boxes are still there, obviously. That's just a gameplay thing, in my opinion. But it leaves the unit instead, and you have to wait for the boxes to get clear before you can either reuse the unit or delete it. That's something I would like to see. That way, if we have other offices that come in, we don't have to wait so long in order to rebuild everything to put them in there. But that's really about it. I mean, again, we could build apartments. I, again, was playing on this harder difficulty, so I didn't really think about it. I could build one now, but I don't want to make the video too much longer. But I think Project Tower is a fairly good game. Well, one minor complaint now I remember. People can't enter in from the right side of buildings, which is pretty annoying if, let's say, we built the tower way over here. They would have to walk from here all the way over here. The only exception being, so far, the subway. I mean, this menu's so big, they might add other options later on. I doubt they would, though. So aside from a metro that you can place anywhere, only once, though, and you can't remove it. It's permanently there once you place it. Rather nice feature, if you ask me. Aside from that, everyone has to come in from the left side. So, yeah, but aside from that, I'd say this is a rather good successor to the Sim Tower, Ute Tower kind of style kind of games. Not the perfect replacement in my opinion, but I mean, these days, Those games are so old, they might as well be replaced by it. It plays well. It plays with very low system requirements, because I was actually playing this while editing a video on my i7 with 100% load, and the game was running just fine. I can also play this on my tablet PC just fine as well. So, it's a very nice game. I can't wait to see what it will look like at release. I might even do a proper series on it then. But this has been Mayor Jason, the Gaming Tycoon, also known as Jam764. And this has been Project Tower. Well, Project Highrise, sorry. Bye, everyone.